Good morning, everybody. It's been warm for about a week and a half here, and I figured we'll go walk around. I actually haven't been down to the forest garden down there, so it'd be nice to see what's going on, how much the frost affected things. We had cold weather. It was warm at the end of February, and then like the middle, all the way to the middle of March, and then middle of March to like the end of March, it was super cold. So it'll be interesting to see how things held up. I know the peach tree was blooming down there and the pear tree, so we will see. I'm probably going to add some drone footage in here too, so y'all can kind of, so you can see where I am from an aerial perspective. I don't know if this is on. But I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll start showing y'all some stuff. I've seen everything up here next to the house, but the further we get down, I haven't actually been down there yet, so it'd be interesting to see. That's a rose bush. Popped the onion tops off the other day. Those are just wild. And these beds around the house I haven't really planted with much yet. Plants are expensive. This is a banana shrub. It's like the blooms are still alive on it. Not really much going on back here. This is the north side of my home. Say hey to Mr. Chester. Hey, buddy. You getting some sun out here? You about to fall asleep standing up? Goodness. You big boy. Sweet buddy. You want to go walking with me? Yes, it's a sweet boy. Yes. Let's go. Come with me. You want to go? Yeah. Let's go. Alright, so here's my mushroom yard. This is where I inoculate mushrooms in the winter. I'm actually going to take all this stuff and lean it into the middle during the summer. Chester likes to sleep under there in the summer when all the stuff is stacked underneath it, and I can cut grass around here a lot better. And then come winter, I'll pull it back out and we'll have more inoculation parties. I cut grass here yesterday. These are the little terraces that I actually haven't been doing anything with them really. I need to figure out where I can get a bunch of blueberries or figure out how to propagate them. I just haven't done the research quite yet, but this area is going to be all perennials. And there's just a bunch of wild geranium, and I do have a little bit of garlic and onions planted in it, but it's mostly wild. Looks like it's just mostly wild geranium planted in there. But yeah, these don't have too much on them. And irises, they bloomed earlier. They got knocked back pretty good. They bloomed really early. These purple ones are pretty. There's some wild onions and strawberries right here. A couple daylilies popping up. I think all the strawberries got knocked back too, but they're blooming again. Let's go to the herb garden and ooh, looks like the mulberry is leafing out a little bit. This is an Everbearing, Illinois Everbearing mulberry. And I'm trying to prune this and make it look really nice. I think that's going to be a beautiful shaped tree. But I pruned it right here last year, and then it made all these branches come out. I pruned them all up top, so it should branch again right there. I don't know, we'll see. Some onion chives. Do need to come in here and weed this. Put that on my list. I'll do that later. I do need to weed around that. I haven't weeded much in here yet. This is usually my herb garden. And what I'll do when it comes time to plant, I'll pull all these wild geraniums up and then I'll plant where the wild geraniums are. I feel like it, I don't know. I just like doing that. Everything seems to live better. And might as well, I mean, when I weed, other little plants will pop up when you weed too, so I don't actually worry about that too much. Pretty much the only thing here are the onion chives. Let's see. That's lime thyme, lemon thyme. I think the sage will make a comeback again. It got really knocked back this winter. That 16-degree weather really hurt it. More lime thyme. This is just a beautiful ground cover right there. More lemon thyme. There's strawberries here and there. That's just a regular thyme plant. I need to probably come in here and do a little weeding too. I think that one's an English thyme, and this one's like an Italian thyme. Let me know if y'all know. This is a lighter color green. I can't remember which one's which. That sage plant's coming back. This one's got a little bit of growth right here. That's about it. We'll see if it comes back. All right, let's walk down to the food forest we kind of established. Well, we'll go over here first, the other side of the drive. God, I got so much property here. Some garlic going good. Maybe get in there and pull a few weeds probably. I just don't have much planted on these terraces right here. I'm ready to get some perennials in it though. Some thyme that's being taken over by, looks like some vetch. Never plant vetch unless you really want it. Takes over. The rosemary right there. These are some cuttings that never, they were fig cuttings. They never did anything though. Nanking Cherry is looking really beautiful. There were some blooms on this, but they definitely got knocked back by the frost. This is a thyme plant that's blooming. It's pretty. This is a pineapple quince. Glad I finally said that word right. It was blooming also, but it looks like there's nothing left on it. No fruit. And a little bee balm coming out, so there's a little, kind of a little guild here. This spot right here is the only spot that really doesn't have a plant. That's like, it's just weeds right here. Planting another Nanking cherry right there would probably help with pollination, so. Another little area I don't have much. There is some asparagus popping up. And the deer have not messed with it, knock on wood. More garlic right here. We'll go this way and then we'll work back down there. This will be a really long video. Some sweet William that just pops up by seed. This stuff is pretty much like a weed here. We better like it because it's pretty. A little pine tree raised bed. Let's go check out what the... This, I'm going to do annuals in this garden this year. I already have some annuals, but I'm turning this more into a protected perennial garden. Like protected as far as deer and rabbits. I do have some purple cabbage that Jess let me have. And it looks pretty good. It just rained yesterday morning, so everything looks really nice and green. The comfrey's already going crazy. I've already pruned this one back one time and it's already come back really strong. I prune it and I tuck it in underneath all this other stuff. Some lettuces I just transplanted. This is, now I wish I did not plant this in here. This is a mandarin lemon balm. It doesn't really smell like much to me. Kind of like pineapple sage. I can't smell pineapple sage. People say it smells good to them, but I don't smell it at all. Some strawberries. Some asparagus on this row. I probably need to actually come in and put a little bit more mulch right here. This is a back to Eden style garden. And sometimes areas degrade quicker and it just needs to be built back up. There's probably, when it rains, it probably, I don't know if y'all can tell from the camera, but it slopes down like this, and the rows that I planted and go like that. So it holds water really well, but right there it probably overflows a little bit. If it does overflow, this garden will soak up a 6-inch rain event like it's nothing. Because the paths even have like 4 or 5 inches of mulch in it. Now I am getting some, I think this is quack grass. I have been trying to take care of this proactively. Need to do that. Bermuda has not stopped coming up, or has not started coming up. I did have Bermuda coming in at the ends of these rows here, and where it was really intense, I pulled it by hand in areas where there was just a little bit, and where it was really intense, I made sure I cardboarded it really heavily, and I brought more mulch in. But this year I have not seen much Bermuda at all. So it seems like you have to battle it like 2 years with this mulch, and then once the mulch degrades, like once you're 3 or 4 years in, it really kind of calms down. But now I'm battling the quack grass. So, but the Bermuda is slowing down a good bit. A little bit more red cabbage right here, and that's pretty much it. I'm saving a lot of this room for okra and probably cowpeas. I don't know if I can go out this door. Yeah, the brick's blocking me. Might have to change out batteries in the middle of this video. This is a little guild I have going right here too. Just some irises. Daylilies. This is a bay tree. Ooh, that 16-degree weather might have killed that. This is a yucca plant. That's what they call it. Yeah, yucca. My chestnuts are coming up. I planted a bunch of baby chestnuts around the edge of the porch right here, and there's a lot of them coming up. This right here is arugula that's blooming. I'm hoping, I'm just going to let that go to seed, and I'm hoping this bed will just be like a little arugula bed. I don't know, we'll see. I see a lot of black-eyed Susans popping up. Oh, that's cool. So we throw a lot of our compost out right here, and we have random flowers popping up now from flowers we picked, but those are all black-eyed Susans right here. Rudbeckia, I think is the Latin name. Those grow really good. That's going to be pretty this year. I'm excited for that. But now we're back where I started. And let's just look at this side of the house. In case y'all don't watch my Life of the Permies, I've been working on this trellis right here. I made this too the other day. My grandma was using these for compost containers, and I just slapped another end on them. She didn't want any more, so I slapped another end on them. I should have, I filled them up before I thought about doing this cattle panel right here. So it's a little wacky shaped, but it'll work. Also made this arch trellis over here out of some scrap. This is literally scrap cattle panel that I wired together, and I planted some ground nuts on this one. So don't have anything in the greenhouse right now. But yeah, I've been working on this. This is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 foot long trellis. So not perfect or anything, but that's going to grow a lot of cowpeas, Livingston butter beans, and ground nuts probably. At least that. Probably going to do some tromboncino zucchini and some Armenian cucumbers as well. Excuse me. I've been working on this actually for like 2 years now, because this is, I don't know if y'all can tell, but this is actually built on a huge terrace that I've made with mulch. I was going to put a high tunnel right here, and then I changed my mind. I don't want to do that, so I built a giant trellis. That thing is going to hold up. These poles are huge. These will probably be here for at least 40 years, maybe 60. I didn't burn the ends. A lot of people were pointing out how they would have burned the ends of these logs, but they were so big. Like, look at this one. This thing is, that's a tree right there. But it just would have been a lot of work to burn the ends of them, so. But, yeah. And Puggle's over there peeing. Come here, Puggle. Come here. She ain't gonna listen to me. But yeah, that's a pretty trellis. I burned all of this area right here this winter. In the areas where you burn, it just has this beautiful green grass that pops up that's not really present. Like I didn't burn over here. This right here was cleared back in 2020. And I've been burning it, and I'm getting a lot of wild strawberries. I'm not gonna walk over there, but there's a ton of wild strawberries on the other side of the trellis over there that are popping up specifically where I burned. So I've just been trying to do different things on the property just to see what pops up. I know burning was pretty natural in this area for a while. So I figured, help it out and try to actually do that a little bit. But as you can see, this area right here was not burned. And it's just the sweet gums are doing really good. And there's just different things like broom straw, I think that's what that's called, is popping up. But over here where I burned looks totally different. It's just really green, just pretty grass. I'm sure it hosts all different sorts of different animals and everything, so kind of a cool thing. This is our basil tea garden, or it was last year. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here. I dumped a whole pile of mulch right here out, and I flattened it out, and then I put a tarp over it. That's how I have a whole video on how I actually made this, but we're gonna remove that tarp come spring, and I might do a basil tea garden there. I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly. There's a lot of lamb's quarters coming up, which I'll start eating soon. I love lamb's quarters. A lot of that got knocked back with the frost as well. Hey, Chester. The forest garden's down there. We'll go down there in a little bit. Battery's getting low, but I got another one. Some of the dewberries got knocked back by the frost, but they are blooming again. We didn't have any dewberries at all last year. That's what these white flowers are right here. I cut this area once a year, and just the dewberries take over. So these are a variety of blackberry that I think are better than blackberries. Doesn't look as formed yet, but there's little blossoms that haven't even bloomed yet. So I do feel like we're gonna get some dewberries. I missed them last year. Cut grass in this area. That right there is a persimmon tree that produces really well. And these are Sawtooth Oaks. It's like persimmon, Sawtooth Oak persimmon. My dad planted these, but I'm probably actually going to end up cutting down a lot of these oaks and replace them with other things. I'll probably keep that big one over there, though. Now, I established this forest garden, when was it? Like December or so. And it's looking really nice. Cut grass in here the other day. And at Jess's, we had a bunch of geese tear up some plants. And we just got new ones for her orchard. And we protected them well. So I brought some of the damaged ones down here. And a couple of them are still alive. Some of them are only growing out below the graft, though. So I don't really know what sort of varieties I'm going to get in here. Like this looks like it was a plum or something that's growing out below the graft. I don't really want that, but it's got one leaf above the graft. We'll see if it survives. This looks like it's a honey locust right here. Popping out. More stuff that I planted from Jess's. Nopales from my friend Leo in Leesville. Oh, looks like I'll have some, what do you call those, snap peas? There's a chestnut in there, but there's snap peas taking over. Cover crop I planted. More nopales. This is another honey locust popping up. And then I have a bunch of fruit trees. Oh, there's a goji over here. I want to check it out. I planted a ton of gojis, but they're really hard to get going. But once they get going, you can't stop them apparently. But this one looks like it'll survive. I'm going to keep you weeded and take care of you. That's pretty much everything. This really doing much right here. The garlic here though is looking beautiful. Look at that. Where it's mulched is doing a lot better. There's no weeds at all really in the mulch, but where I planted it straight in the ground, there's a lot of little grasses popping up. It'll be interesting to see what this garlic looks like. But the mulched garlic is doing super good. Probably gonna put a couple more of these little teardrop mulched areas down here, and once I get the garlic done, I'll probably cover it up with a tarp again. Oh, it's good right there. All right. I'm gonna change the battery out, and then we're gonna walk to the forest garden on the other side. All right, the food forest that we were just at is behind me. The house is right there. Those were the dewberries I was just showing y'all. We're gonna walk through these pine trees. These are the only pines that aren't down in the bottom that the loggers left. I haven't really done much in here. I do have my cedar. A lot of the cedar that I saved I was keeping right there. But I've almost exhausted that. I need to get some more. There's my hammock I lay in from time to time. Little hangout area. Let's see, let's go look at my pond. I have a couple things planted in here. This right here is a sparkleberry. This is one of the only ones on the property. I don't see any blooms on it though. This is actually a pretty old sparkleberry. This might be like 15, 20 years old. They're a very slow growing species, but they have edible berries. And I like the way they taste. Taylor says they taste like perfume to her, so. It's my little irrigation pond. Froggy jumping in for my forest garden down here. That's the pipe that it's already open, but there's another valve on this end you can open, and it floods these swales down here. I planted these swales by hand. And this forest garden right here is about 5 years old. I made a lot of mistakes on it, but I've talked about it on other episodes or other videos. Black locusts are coming in. They're looking pretty. I pollarded one over there. It doesn't look like it's doing anything yet, but this is kind of like a little black locust grove. It's actually really peaceful in there if you can stay away from the thorns, but when the locusts get bigger, their thorns go away. Here's a little, or not a little, it's like a 12-foot tall pear tree. This is a Stoney hill pear. If you're in the south, you can get these from Hallman Farms. I've gotten 2-pound pears off of Stoney hill pear trees, so looks like the frost killed all the buds on it, but it'll at least get to grow. So I think I've done videos on managing this area down here. I guess you could call this like a zone 4 permaculture wise, but I didn't design it really well for access, and I left a lot of gaps between swales and trees, which in the future I would not do because it's just overrun with blackberries, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but there's blackberries everywhere, and I have to spend at least 10 hours a year just taking care of the paths. And a lot of trees that I have planted in here have gotten lost in the blackberries. But once they make it over the blackberries, they're actually protected from deer if you keep the blackberries around them. Like this peach tree right here. This peach tree made it over the blackberries, and the blackberries themselves actually protect the tree from like from bucks rubbing their antlers on the bark down here, which they did to that pear tree and they almost killed it. The blackberries protect from that, and the deer won't actually go in to get the fruit. But once you start getting fruit, now you got to get through the blackberries. It's challenging. It's challenging. So, but the blackberries are blooming, and there are a ton of them down here this year. So we'll have that. Yeah, it's looking really green. This is the first time I've been down here in a while, so. Little Indian fig cactuses. This is another swale right here. I think that's a hyacinth that's being taken over. Here's a wormwood growing really well. Seems to do really good without much. I don't have to weed around it too much. I just cut grass around it. It grows well. Go further down. This is downslope this way, and there's multiple swales that run across like so. I guess I'm just going to let blackberries grow up this old trellis. Let's see, there's a big old lavender right there. I'll have to cut grass down here in about a week. It's beautiful lavender. And some mullein. That's probably going to bloom this year. Probably take the seeds off of that and spread it everywhere. This is a Persian green plum. Yeah, it's still alive. You eat those plums when they're green. You're supposed to put salt on them. And this is a little blueberry right here. Oh, look. Mountain mint popping up. Oh, this is one of my favorite mints right here. If you're in the South, I think this is native to like the Appalachians. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it grows really, really good here in the South. So it can actually handle like intense weed pressure. This right here is a gummy berry. Actually has some blossoms on it this year. I've been having trouble with this one though. This one has had blossoms on it, and then it hasn't produced fruit in like 4 years. And the one at my mom's house has been producing fruit. So I don't really know what's going on with that. It's been growing really good, but just haven't gotten any fruit off of it in a while. Daylilies going crazy. I need to come down here in the winter again. Every winter I come down here and I take them and I spread them throughout the property. But this is like I planted them here 5 years ago and they've taken over ever since. It's a little pond that I dug out. Cattails are going crazy in there. This actually usually dries up in the summer when it gets real hot. But this year there's that black willow right there has taken over. So maybe it won't dry out as easily. I think black willow is supposed to be good for like basketry and stuff. Here's a huge red mulberry that I planted. I actually don't like the berries too much on it, but the birds love it. So again, I originally did plant a good bit down here, but it's so far away from my house, I don't really have access to like consistent water, and this whole area is probably about an acre, so it's just a lot to take care of. This is a little pawpaw that's actually, I think it'll actually survive. So when you plant pawpaws, try to plant a bunch of them. And I'm not really worried about the pawpaws because I discovered a lot of pawpaws on some other land that we have, and I've been managing those. It's a ton of pawpaw groves. It's where I go foraging a lot. If y'all watch my foraging videos, it's like majority pawpaws and oaks. So no black walnuts. There's a little bee right there. This is a Rabbiteye blueberry. It seems to be handling the weed pressure fairly well. but I'm ready to get all that stuff in a area where I can actually manage the weeds a lot better. This was a medlar tree. Another tree that is handling the weed pressure pretty good. A lot of this stuff I was just kind of testing out to see what does good here, because there's a lot of weird things like medlar. Like, I don't know anybody that grows a medlar tree, and it actually it's been surviving the past few years, so I'm going to invest more of that in the future and see if we can get that to grow better if we actually put it in an area that we can take care of it more. Another one of those trees like that are strawberry trees, aka Chinese mulberry, aka a che tree. Now, they did good at first. The che tree did, but it just, you see where I am, there's just briars surrounding me, and it's really hard to get back here. And Osage Orange actually grew out of the graft from the strawberry tree. So I do have Osage Orange down here now. My strawberry trees died just because I couldn't take care of it well enough. But I will get more of the strawberry trees. But I like having Osage Orange as well. Kind of a cool tree to have. If you ever seen an Osage Orange, it's not an edible by any means, but it has a weird looking fruit on it. And I believe the wood was once used to make bows and stuff. That's what Native Americans used it for. And there's a little area where some of my family members have some land where an old Indian burial ground was, and there's an Osage Orange grove there, which is pretty cool. I think it was actually originally a Midwestern tree, if I remember right. I have another strawberry tree in here somewhere. See, stuff just ends up getting lost in here if it doesn't grow quick enough. Some of the only things that grew quick enough really were like the mulberry, the peach, the pear. The pear tree, I got that and it was already a big tree. So, but they're more expensive when they're big trees like that. It's a cool little broom straw grove here. Look at these deer trails that go through here. You can see that. That is intense. I mean, that's a path right there. And I have another quince down here. It's finally made it over the briars, so it should be able to grow pretty good this year. If you can see it, it's got really soft leaves. Pretty tree. But I'm gonna keep the briars around it because you see that deer path right there. They don't come close to it because the briars are so intense around it. So that's the way I protect a lot of the trees if I can. It's a tedious process trying to use nature to actually protect the trees. The tree has to be able to do good here to use that as a mechanism, which that is the mechanism that nature designed blackberries for. They're always on the edge of the forest and little trees grow up through them, so they're protected. I did have pawpaws down there, but I don't think I can get down there anymore. Well, that might be about it. There's some daylilies. We're coming back up through this pond. I have some other trees here and there. Maybe we'll walk up this trail on this other side. And then we'll walk up that main trail y'all saw Chester on. And then that'll be it. But not a lot in here. I just kind of keep the trails maintained. There is a little plum tree. I do have plums up in here. Plums grow really well. This is a plum tree right here. That's only a year old. More mullein. There's rhubarb coming up right there. I started this garden when I literally had no idea how to grow anything, and I was just trying to figure out. I had no idea how quickly weeds would grow and just take things over. It's a rosemary plant, but they grow really fast. So I learned a lot down here. I need a lot more maintenance on a lot of these things. That was one of the main things. There's a little plum tree right here. I need to come in here, and that will get lost in just a month or two if I don't come in here and fix it. Look at all the blackberries that are going to be on there. That's beautiful. I mean, that is one cool thing about this forest garden down here specifically, is there are tons of blackberries. And every year I get more and more because I maintain these trails. And I go through and I literally physically cut these by hand a lot of times. So it's blackberry haven up in here. I don't know how many more years that's gonna last, just because of succession wise, things change over time. It's another gummy berry. This one kind of got lost in the briars, and then I discovered it randomly one day. Peach tree over here. Oh, I got a hazelnut grove I'll show y'all. Need some water. Yep, these are hazelnuts right here. That's one I got from Hallman Farms, which is local around here as well. They just call it a hazelnut. I don't think it's a specific variety. This is a European hazelnut. It's not doing as good as the Hallman Farms variety, but that is doing okay. I'll put the Hallman Farms website link in the description. They have really good prices on a lot of stuff. So let's see, this hazelnut's not doing. Oh, that looks like it's dead. That's a Jefferson hazelnut. So it might still be alive. I think it's still alive. This is a honeyberry I moved this winter. It was getting overtaken down there. But gonna try to plant a lot more of these honeyberries. I haven't actually tried the fruit from the honeyberry, but it's supposed to be pretty good. This is a wild lemon. Poncirus trifoliate, I think is the Latin name. It might actually have fruit this year, I don't know. It's been down here a few years. I have some just normal mint growing in here. That smells good too. But it looks like the vetch in the grass is actually going to overtake the mint. We'll see. But yeah, wild lemon, beautiful, even in the winter. Look at those thorns. Those like wet soil. So if you're in the south, you can find them in floodplain environments. Asian pear has not grown at all, but I mean it's doing fine, I guess. Damn deer ripped off the limbs. Deer will eat pear leaves and stuff right when they come out, but it seems like once they get older, I'm gonna come and cut that with some clippers and make it cleaner. Once it gets older, they seem to bother the pears and the prunuses a whole lot less. Some marjoram, I think. Yeah, that's marjoram. Now we're kind of, see the house right there. We're back on this trail. We were walking up there and we came in that way, and we're doing a big circle right now. So a lot more dewberries on the edge of the trails. That's another pear tree, I believe, right there. I have a couple mulberries here and there around on these. A good place to focus planting trees. If you have trails, I would try to plant along the trails first, since they're naturally maintained. You won't have to maintain the other side of the trail will grow up, but you're maintaining this so the tree can grow out this way. Worst case scenario, if you can't maintain a lot of trees at once, just find a trail and use that. I do that a lot. This is a mulberry going crazy. I need to figure out what I need to do with this because it's overtaking that cage, but deer love mulberry leaves. Let's see, I have something right in here. There's the pond again. This was what was this? Hawthorn. This is a hawthorn, I believe. A hawthorn or a crabapple? I think it's a hawthorn. All right, let's see. That mulberry, there's a little pear tree tucked in somewhere right here. Let's see if it's still alive. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, it's got some little leaves on it. I think that's a pear. No, this is a persimmon, isn't it? Yeah. Rosianka? I believe that's a persimmon. Come in here and cut these sweet gums around the edge of it, but other than that, persimmons, they do really good here, but they're very slow growing. So you have to make sure that you can weed around them regularly, chop and drop or something. But other than that, they grow really good here. There's it's called a Gaia Pear. My dad planted this years ago, and he planted it way too deep. I mean, the tree's like, it's like 3 feet in the ground, so it's barely grown, but I don't know, maybe I need to come in here and open it up from these pine trees growing around it, and it probably would do better. I did cut some stuff back on this edge of it I just don't know how good it's going to do because it's planted so deep. I feel like it's going to be prone to diseases at some point. That's one of the number one things people do is they plant their trees so deep where the roots almost like to be right on the top of the soil. Sometimes I'll leave a little bit of root flare sticking out the soil just a little bit. All right, so we're back up here. I believe that's about it. That's a good tour. Early April. I'm excited to see what it'll look like in about a month. So, oh, let's look at this muscadine over here. I pruned this back a good bit. Yeah, it's got a few little leaves popping out. Nice. That's the purple muscadine right there, and they get huge. So I'm excited about this season. This is like the first year where I think a lot of the mulch that I put down has been degraded real well, and I'm excited just to see. I think things will be doing really good this year. It's gonna be an interesting year. So, yeah. Well, that's it for the day. I'm not gonna walk down to my mushroom yard. I did a video just the other day on that, and I know there's nothing fruiting down there, so if you want to see that, check out another video. But yeah, that's it. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.